Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football. I hope all of you are well. I knew there was going to be a second video. I planned a second video, but I did not think it would be this as a second video. Make sure you stay till the end. We got quite something to cover. Weirdly enough, Chelsea have a here we go. Yes, I know you're probably thinking, hang on, but it's November. How has this happened? We shall explain. But before we do, few things. I was going to say a couple of things. Few things. Go and check out video number 1 if you haven't done so already from earlier on today, where we go into Disasi and his return to the squad, as well as a couple of other things. Go and have a butchers if you haven't done so already. Enjoy. Also, go to the first link in the description to catch all of your latest Chelsea goodies, including the new Xmas jumper that has dropped, which all the proceeds for will be going to the Chelsea Foundation. Hit that link in the description. There is a current discount going on at the Chelsea Mega Store as well, so hit that and enjoy. On top of that, we are about to get cracking into a piece of news that I didn't anticipate. And I don't think anyone anticipated, except for one guy. One guy did anticipate this, and I got to give him credit, and I will mention him in due course. But before we do, let's get into what has happened. We have an exclusive. We have a here we go. Yes, someone is coming to Chelsea, and it's official. And yes, the transfer market is closed. But we've done this. So, let's jump into it. Enjoy this, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Exclusive from Fabrizio says, Deinner, Ordonez to Chelsea. Here we go. Agreement reached today for 16-year-old talented defender to join CFC project. Independiente de Valle accepted all conditions as Chelsea anticipate 3 top European clubs. The Ecuadorian will arrive in January 2028. And that is how he's going to look like when he does join. And obviously the kits will be different, but you get the gist. Let's go into some detail, because I know the question that a lot of you have right now is, who the hell is this geezer? Right? Yeah, okay. Well, I didn't know until earlier on today either, if I'm going to be completely honest. So, let's jump right in. So we got CFC PYS with Deinner Ordonez to Chelsea as a here we go. Chelsea anticipated 3 top clubs to sign him. He's arriving in January 2028. Now, this is where I give the credit. I give a credit to none other than Felix Johnston, who, as you can see here, is, and I'll go to his main account actually just to show you guys, but he is now a first team scout at Como 1907. So yes, the team that Fabregas coaches at, Felix has managed to get himself a job as first team scout. So huge congrats to him. But in January of earlier this year, this is what he put on his scouting page. Deinner Ordonez may just be the best centre-back talent I've ever seen. And obviously, as I've responded, this is why Como got you, which is true. He has managed to pluck this one out 11 months ago. None of us knew who the geezer was. None of us have heard of this player ever, unless you actually watch Ecuadorian football. Now, Independiente is the club that Moises Caicedo came out of. That's the club that Brighton went to go and get Moises Caicedo in the first place, right? So here's where I'm going to take a breather on the player for a sec, and I've got to talk to Brighton. Yeah? It's amazing what happens when your best customer actually does some homework, you know? This is the equivalent of someone being impressed by a dropshipping store, right? And then going straight to Alibaba.com to get the source. This is exactly the same. I'm not going to buy from you where you decide to, upscale it and make it look fantastic and then sell it for £80. I'm going to go to Alibaba.com where you've got that from for me to buy it for £2.50. Chelsea have found the source. Now, all jokes aside, yeah, Brighton, you need to start getting worried about how you lot scout, because it looks like we have found the source and we're going to get there first. So we no longer need to come to you to buy anymore for inflated prices. We can go to the same place you go to buy for discounts. Anyway, here's detail on the player. Check this out. Chelsea have pre-agreed a deal to sign Ecuadorian defender Deinner Ordonez from Independiente del Valle, as Fabrizio called. 16-year-old has agreed a long-term contract and will join in 2028. Chelsea have an excellent relationship with Independiente del Valle, who are also Moises Caicedo's former club. Here's the player himself. And Nizar Kinsella tells us, expect youth signings like defender Deinner Ordonez, 16 from Independiente del Valle, to continue apace. Chelsea have a few similar irons in the fire. Chelsea hold good relations with IDV, with Paul Winstanley involved in signing Caicedo out of there for Brighton. Sorry, Brighton. Sorry. But it looks like the customer has now become the boss. We have bought the business, yeah? We now own you. You now have to come to our scouting team to find out the gems, right? I'm kidding. That's not exactly how football works, right? But normally, let me be completely honest. Normally it'll be very easy for me to come on here right now and look you guys in the eyes and tell you guys, what in the blue hell are we doing? Yeah, we're going in for another 16-year-old. And he won't be able to join until he reaches 18. We've heard this script before. And the last time we heard this script, and the only time I think we'd heard this script properly, since Bluco walked through the door for a 16-year-old of this nature to then come into the club at 18, was in fact Esteval Willian. And I remember my reaction when we were first linked with Esteval Willian, and I was looking and going, guys, what are we doing? The footage is there. You can go back and see it. I remember the whole Endrick saga and going, okay, well, he looks like a good footballer. Real Madrid have clocked him up. Okay, cool. Now, Esteval just looks like a Timu B-Tech version that Chelsea were just basically acting off of FOMO. And now here I am looking at Esteval going, mate, I need you to play every game because you are an absolute baller beyond people's comprehension. So when it comes to this defender, when it comes to Ordonez, I've only seen him play today. Yeah, I'm not going to come on here and tell you guys I watched the Ecuadorian league because I don't. I can only go back and look at certain bits of footage. I'm not someone to just look at one compilation and come to a conclusion like many Twitter tacticos in today's age, because that doesn't give you a correct comprehension of things. I think it's best if you actually go and do some due diligence and spend a good hour or two at least looking at a player and footage from games that others might not actually go and search for. All I can say about the defender so far is so far so good. Right? He looks solid. He's 1.90 m. He seems quite lanky for his style, but he looks solid. He's not the quickest. There's been some clips that I've seen where you can see a striker's got more pace than him, but it seems like he times himself well. In terms of his tackles look clean. Every time he goes in for a slider, right? And, you know, most defenders would like to just go and crunch the player, break the legs, break the ball, break the turf, break everything and take it off the pitch, you know, Dennis Wise style. Go through him, yeah? Take him and everything with it, right? I get that and I love that. But he times his tackles to the point where when he does that, he actually just gets the ball and runs off with it, which is great. So far, so good. Another good thing about him and what I've seen so far is his distribution. And this is why I think Chelsea might have been very, very interested. Because do you guys remember how, okay, what I'm about to say, don't misquote and don't get carried away. Yeah. I'm just telling you in terms of the first players that pop to my mind when I see this thing. There's two. Actually, three. Now I've got a third that entered and it's one of our own right now. Do you remember how JT used to send a cross-diagonal ball? And it used to do it with his left foot, yeah? And it always used to be so accurate. That's one example. Rudiger is the second example. where he used to be able to ping a ball and spot someone running on the flank and it gets right in front of him. Yeah, beautifully placed, beautifully weighted. Levi Colwill is now someone that we've seen do that recently. When you go and look at Ordonez and the way that he plays, he seems to just know how to ping a ball to feet. So I'm sure that's another reason why Chelsea are very, very interested in this boy. Now, like I said, it would be very simple of me to come on here and just just shoot the whole thing down because he's 16. I can't do that. Not now. Because Esteval has proven otherwise. Who knows? Best case scenario, this boy will come into the club, will come into Chelsea, and we will have our defender version of Esteval. And if that's the case, centre-back as well. If we have a centre-back version of Esteval, we're laughing, right? Worst case scenario is he's not that good, but his value increases and we sell him for a profit. Now, what I want to make sure happens here is that we don't have the premonition and the thinking instantly of, oh, you know what? Yeah, we can just use him for a couple of years and sell, make some money. If he's not good enough, go down that route. If he's good enough, like Esteval is right now, and we're all asking for him to play and to start, he needs to be part of the first team squad. But he's not going to be joining Chelsea up until 2028. So we still have a lot of time to observe, a lot of time to watch over him, a lot of time to see what he's about. Even if he does end up getting a call up to the Ecuadorian national team, you never know, we'll get a bit there. Maybe he'll link up with Caicedo too. Another reason why I don't want to shoot it down is because look at the way Caicedo's playing for us right now. When you talk about who is the player right now that is absolutely detrimental, not detrimental, that's the wrong word, that means bad. Instrumental, right? Who's the player that you absolutely need? Now, some people might argue Palmer, some people might even right now argue Esteval, but I will say Caicedo is the glue. Well, just before Brighton, he was at Independiente, and then he went to Brighton, played really, really well. We bought him for 100 and odd million. Who's to say this player's not of the same caliber, not of the same cloth? Anyone that's going to tell you right now that, oh no, this kid is special, this kid is the one, oh my God, he's an absolute baller, I think is over-exaggerating because we still need to see. Unless if they're actually a scout and they're in the business and they've been tracking the player for so long in games that we don't even know exist. If it's just the average fan telling you that, they've not seen enough. And on the contrary, if you get anyone shooting him down and saying, no, this is an absolute disgrace, you're not even bothering to actually pay attention to what is this player and what he can possibly do. Based on our track record so far of Caicedo and Esteval. I can't shoot this down. I'll say, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. This might end up being a very, very, very shrewd signing. Very. So, what do you think? I want to ask, and I want to get, especially if there's any Ecuadorians in here, because you will know. In the same way right now, if someone were to tell me, oh no, look, I've heard of this Algerian player, can you tell me about him? Send him my way, yeah? And I'll give you a report. Any Ecuadorians in here that watch the Ecuadorian League and watch Independiente religiously? No? I'd love to get your opinion. Let me know down below. Much appreciated. And then I will try and bump those up for every one of you to see in the comment section. I'll try and pin the best. So if you are of that nature and you know, let me know down below and I will, if it's good enough, I will pin it. So that's the latest. Chelsea have signed someone. Unbelievable. Let me know your thoughts. Much appreciated. Now, let's move to a couple of other bits of info before we wrap up. Fabrizio's gone into detail on a certain player that we all do know. And this might get a little interesting. Here it is. Top Premier League clubs have started contacts to explore Kenan Yildiz, as there is still no new contract agreement with Juventus, with a difference still in salary. I'm curious, how much is Yildiz on right now? Let's do some digging. He's on... Hang on, what? He's on 1.2 million a season.
That's peanuts. That is the case, right? 1.2 million a season. So he's on 71k a week. You know what? For a player of Yildiz' ability and nature, I mean, that's the sort of player you pay, I'd say 100k for a week. You can do that. That fits within our salary cap. So, look, but it goes back to the same issue. I said this about Rodrigo, and I'll say it about Yildiz. Albeit two different types of players. But the wingers that we've got at the club right now are in the numbers. And it would mean that money spent on players like Garnacho, like, I was going to say Silva, bloody hell, imagine we had Silva. Like Gittins, I think means that we don't go in for someone like Yildiz. Especially now where on the right-hand side, Pedro Neto and Esteval have that lockdown. I don't see how Yildiz is even an option. I don't see any winger as an option right now. It's just not happening. We've got enough. Do you know what I mean? So don't get your hopes up. I know this is a piece of news. Top Premier League clubs are starting contacts. If he doesn't sign a new deal, then it'll be a very, very, very good deal to get him. But the problem with Chelsea right now is we've got wingers. You know, it would just... as much as he's a fantastic player, unless we get rid of someone, it doesn't make sense. But all the players that we've got right now are brand new players. Garnacho, brand new. Gittins, brand new. Esteval, brand new, pretty much. Pedro Neto, not brand new, but we ain't selling him, that's for sure. So we've got to be realistic. It's not like any one of us can walk into the Chelsea offices tomorrow and go, by the way, lads, no, okay, look, this is what we got to do. We've got to get rid of them, and we've got to get Yildiz in because he's available now, even though we just brought them through the door. And then Chelsea are going to go, yeah, okay, good idea. Yeah, that sounds good. No, that's a fugazi. That's a pipe dream. It's not happening. So we've got to be realistic here. Yildiz will be interesting to see who's going to target him. I've got a sneaky feeling, and you can quote me on this. I think Liverpool might do some butchering over Yildiz. I think Liverpool could be looking at Mo Salah, especially after the money they've spent, which is now looking like they might have spent wrong. And they go, you know what? We might cash in on Salah. And how about we get Yildiz in to try and make our brand new next big winger? You never know. You never know. So let me know your thoughts. Do you agree on that? Do you agree with that theory? That's just a theory. Let me know. Much appreciated. Now, I want to end with something that is funny. It's full circle, and it's going to illustrate to you that what we've been told or what we've not been told is the problem here, and that, you know, things get hidden. I'm going to show you some boxing news. Now, albeit Eubank and Ben fight tomorrow night, and I can't wait for that. Eubank Ben 2. May that be a fantastic fight, just like the first. That was a fight for the ages. We've got boxing news. So check this out from Ring Magazine. Joseph Parker reportedly tested positive for cocaine in a VADA drugs test taken on the day of his defeat to Fabio Wardley. Two sources close to Team Parker have conveyed their dismay to the Ring at the findings, for which he has an opportunity to have his B sample tested. Now, you might know where I'm going with this, because I've just read a certain phrase that I know has rang alarm bells for all of you, I'm sure. By the way, can I just say, okay, just on a side note, that must have been the weakest cocaine in the world, let's be honest, because he lost. You know what I mean? He lost. Wardley beat him, so it doesn't really change much, does it? You know, whether he's on something or not, you lost. So it clearly didn't have much of an effect. The news is that he took that recreationally and it wasn't to enhance his performance, and that makes sense, right? That makes sense. And what he does in his spare time on a night out or something is what he does. But anyway, I want to show you this because I want to put all of you on notice. This is the day that we've got the news, yeah? 15th of November, we get told about Joseph Parker. And he's going to have an opportunity to have his B sample tested. Let's see how long it's going to take until we get the results of the B sample. Because according to my watch, we're still waiting for Mudrik's. it's like we said before. B sample's already out. Everything's already out, surely. It's been hidden. It's not been seen to, it's not been let to see the light of day. It's not. It's just been, tucked away under the carpet, in the drawer, in the basement, in the sewers, in the graves, right? And we won't hear about it. We won't hear about it until maybe 2-3 years down the line. Just as Mudrik's about to make a comeback and we go, oh, by the way, yeah, his B sample come back. Yeah, we don't care. He's got a year left until he comes back, or 6 months until he's back anyway. So it doesn't make much of a difference. The fact that Chelsea have gone and bought 2 wingers as well, 2 left wingers, Garnacho, Gittins, tells you everything you need to know. But I'm just saying, because we've still not been told about Mudrik's B sample when we were told that was going to come out. Yeah, it's not and it won't. The powers that be have this information and they are not letting it out. We'll wait and see how long it's going to take for Joseph Parker to get his out. Let's see. So we're on notice. We shall wait and we shall observe. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on that. Much appreciated. And I will catch all of you tomorrow for a brand new one, brand new 2. We'll see what's popping. Make sure you're here, subscribe, notification bell on. Don't forget, like I said, the link in the description for all of your latest Chelsea Megastore merch. Go over there, have a look and enjoy the discounts there. And I'll catch all of you tomorrow. Have a good one, people. Look after yourselves. See you then. Take care and peace.